joy, enthusiasm, and much alacrity that I welcome Siobhan Power into studio. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And thanks
Siobhan, no, you're that's great.
inviting us again.
No, sure, now, look, talk stones and rocks, talk geology, talk archaeology, and put that all in a package that looks like you.
Oh, stop.
You're constantly welcome, I tell you.
Thank you very much.
For goodness sake. The last time I saw this woman was on Hill Street. You were leading a band of brothers and sisters and telling them about the wonderment of shop fronts.
I was indeed.
But I'm still trying to find out where the archaeological or the geological significance of Newry's shop fronts. All I can see is plastic and bits of...
If you look, we've quite a lot of rock.
Really?
Yeah, we've
It's
a lot
in
of
there?
rock fronts. Yeah, we do. Most of it imported rock,
Yes.
but still it's beautiful.
It is.
It is. But of course the churches are all
They
mostly
are.
built of local
Local
rock.
stuff.
And the cobblestones,
Yeah.
they're all local.
I'll tell you a lovely story about cobblestones.
Do.
It's a nice story. When I was a boy, I lived in Mary Street.
Right.
And down in Newry, and down the avenue, down the tunnel, we went to Johnny McCabe, the furniture man's yard. And Johnny McCabe, at the front door gate of his tunnel down there, were cobblestones.
Yeah.
And I used to go down the yard and up the yard and was playing there as 5, 6, 7. I was swinging out a chandelier, doing everything that you would do as a boy. And until about 2, 3 years ago, when the old wooden gates that were there, until they were taken away, the initials RH were carved on the wooden gate. I had put them there at the age of 12. I did.
Very good.
It was great.
Yeah.
So that was done, and when Mr. McCabe left Mary Street, and I love this because it gives a thing a sense of place, and went to his wonderful emporium of furnishings and antiques and reproductions out on Downshire Place, Downshire Road, he brought with him the cobblestones.
Very good.
And now every time I enter his tunnel of temptation,
Yes.
which is what I call his shop, I walk over the
same
cobblestones
cobblestones.
I played on as a child. But those cobblestones, you probably don't know this, or maybe you do know this. Those cobblestones they were certainly cut in Newry, weren't they?
I believe so.
I believe
yes.
so. Where would they have been cut? There's a lot of work in cutting
There
cobblestones.
is a lot. I don't honestly know
No.
that. It's a part of the rock story I need to research a little further. In various events we've held,
Yeah.
more people, we're meeting more and more people that have associations
Yeah.
with the works. So it'll be the next
But
branch
Siobhan,
of what we do.
is it in any sense part of your mandate, any sense part of your real enthusiasm to tell people about the rocks and the geology and the art? Is that really, surely you're a scientist and you're immersed in science and all the rest of it is a vexation.
Well, not really. You can't separate science, or everybody can't separate science from the people. I mean, you might argue that geology does very little for mankind. Well, it is involved with energy, of course, but it's always good to be able to communicate what science is with the people.
And that's a genuine.
And
that's one of the bullet points that you tick in your raison d'etre on a daily basis.
It is. It's the communication of the science. So, for instance, here in Mourne-Cooley-Gullion, it's the communication of what's so special about this area. Why do scientists love this area?
And do they?
Oh, they do.
You had
they
some
do.
scientists over recently.
We had Expo 2014 here in Newry for 3 days last week. Wednesday we had a full day of archaeology talks, and Thursday we had a full day of geology talks. And we had full house at all of them, which we were delighted that the people of Newry and Mourne and Louth and Banbridge and Down came out and stayed for the whole morning, whole day.
When you say we, you're talking about yourself and Vanessa, the two of you.
Well, we're the Mourne-Cooley-Gullion Geotourism Project. There are actually 5 of us.
And are the others geologists or archaeologists?
No, we've John Devaney, who's the project manager.
Yeah, he's just a manager. Go ahead.
Anne Kelly is marketing and publicity,
That's not science. Go ahead.
Alison Henderson is the education officer.
It's a wee bit. They're
Yeah,
all okay.
yeah, they're all okay.
Yeah, but I mean, you're the hardcore of it.
We are the hardcore, and I suppose
Yeah.
Vanessa and I are the most publicly known. We're known by quite a few people now because we're out and we're doing all the events.
Say you're known by your fruits.
We're known by what we do. Yes,
and that's huge
Yes.
because, if I find wherever I go in Ireland, and I'm a very sick human being. I think I used to travel the length and breadth of Ireland for Nationwide.
Yes.
And I would go to Galway, I'd go to Connemara, I'd go out onto the Aran Islands and blah, 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 and I'd do stuff. But I found myself being inexorably drawn to rocks. And I would lift a rock and put it into the boot of my car and take it home with me.
Good.
And that's a rock from Galway.
Yes.
That's one of the Aran Island rocks.
Yes.
And I'd have these things.
Yes.
And when Mark Carruthers, one of my reporters in BBC in Belfast, went to the first Gulf War, because Radio Ulster at that time, we had responsibility for covering the world.
Yes.
I said, Mark, bring me back something as a gift. And just you call it. And what did he bring me back?
A rock.
A beautiful rock from the desert.
Yes.
And this was a rock that was shone like amber, like opaque amber. And I don't know what it was from the desert.
Right.
And a small prayer mat he brought
Oh, right.
me.
Very
Isn't
good.
that lovely?
Lovely presents, yes.
And but I mean, the rock, I'm drawn to it for some reason. And that's a long way of telling you that I think mankind, members of who think at all, are drawn into the rocks. Because this is whence we have come.
Well, yes, we wouldn't exist without them.
Yeah, it's true.
Both in the fact that everything here is and that comes from, in some way or another, from minerals in the ground or from something that comes from the ground.
Stellar mass.
Well, there's that too.
Where we started.
Yes, where we started.
And
yes,
where we'll go back to.
And also, we all live with our landscape. So the people would say, if you look at the water story in the Mournes, that's an amazing story in itself.
The water story.
The fact that we have all the water, the reservoirs, the dams,
yeah, of course.
that supply most of the rest of or quite a bit of the rest of Northern Ireland, but it's because of the properties of granite, etc.
Yeah. Granite holds.
Granite, yeah, granite. Water
But
doesn't
does
go
that
through.
water pump? Does it come up from the earth, or does it come down?
No, it's the rainwater that's captured.
Are you telling me that the Silent Valley is rainwater that's captured and held by the granite?
A lot of it is, yes.
Goodness
a lot
gracious.
of it is. A lot of
Yeah.
it is. Yeah. No, because
And-
we wouldn't have much we wouldn't have water coming. There wouldn't be springs all that
No,
much. Yeah.
in the granite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Isn't that
it'll be
amazing?
more capture
Yeah.
of rainwater.
And that's why we get droughts in the mornings. You see the water when it
Yes,
flies at
yes,
times.
yeah.
Because granite is solid.
It is water.
Yeah.
It's not porous. Water will never.
What
go
about that
through.
other thing that you get? That cancer you get from the granite. What's it called?
Oh, from the radon.
The radon. Is that something people should be aware of?
It is.
And what is radon? What is that?
It's a gas that's released by the granites.
Really?
Yes, yes. But it's easy enough to mitigate against.
And what will you do?
Ventilation.
Good ventilation.
Yes, good ventilation. So if you have ground floors, radon will build up in them.
Wow.
But it's easy enough to deal with. It's keeping windows open, having ventilation. You know, the vents that people put in. That's all part of.
Do you remember? I was telling you about the time I went down the tunnel in Mary Street to Johnny McCabe's place.
Yes.
Radon wasn't heard of then.
No, it wasn't, but it
only
still existed.
within the last 10 years,
Yes,
maybe.
yeah. But it is
Yeah.
more associated with granite regions because it's a gas that's given off by the granite as it changes.
Which rock are you most attracted to?
Ooh.
What grabs you and demands your attention?
Ooh, I love them all.
I know you do.
But I suppose because I'm a structural geologist, as in faults and folds
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything,
So basaltic.
I like the structures within the rocks. But I have a particular favourite which is called eclogite or eclogite.
Eclogite.
Because I worked in America on it, I get mixed up between the American pronunciation and the European pronunciation. But it's an ultra high pressure rock. It's green and red. It's
Green
red
and
and green. It's garnets and clinopyroxene. So it's a Christmas tree rock, but
Where do I find this rock?
you don't really in
Yeah.
Ireland.
No.
It's an ultra high pressure, so it was formed hundreds or tens of kilometres below the surface of the earth. at very high pressures. Greenland is where I where I have worked on it. Where I've worked on it.
Love that. Yeah.
But just back to the expo, we had last Thursday. We had professors from Britain and Sweden and doctors of geology from all around Ireland and Britain and we had a huge collection of people presenting their research on the region. Very exciting research.
I was going to say, yeah.
Very exciting research. And on the Friday we had a field trip around Slieve Gullion, a proper old-style field trip where we didn't know where we were going until we got there. Yeah. And we had I think I counted up 2 professors and 4 doctors of geology on the field trip, and it was just amazing to have that much science.
Can we invent
out?
Yeah, that much science.
Yeah, that much science, and that the area captures that level of enthusiasm.
Flippantly, I ask what a collective noun for geologists might be.
I don't know. I don't know. An outcrop of geologists.
Maybe, or
an exposure of geologists.
Or whatever. Yeah. But on a more serious note then, give me the bullet point, the single sentence that sums up the excitement of the findings. Is there one above all others that was there, that really people went, oh, that's amazing?
New dates on the Carlingford complex and the Gullion complex. New dates.
Older than we thought?
Just a slight shift. So those 2 are connected. The Mourns is a good bit younger. So the Mourns 56 million, but Cooley and Gullion about the 60. So we probably had 60 million years ago 2 great volcanoes. They're gone now. But we probably had 2 here at
the mouth of the loch.
Yes.
Boom, boom, boom,
yes,
boom,
just
boom.
2 amazingly big volcanoes. I mean, Slieve Gullion now isn't a volcano. It's
folded. It's collapsed.
It's the underneath, if you like.
Yeah.
But we've some volcanic products around in the ring, and we have a good few volcanic products in Carlingford.
Yeah.
But yes, we probably had 2 huge volcanoes 60 million years ago.
You want to see the mental pictures I'm getting here?
Yes. Well, even if you just think of that, they are on there between Louth and Armagh and down, 2 huge, maybe 2 kilometres high, and the breadth of them as well. Just 2 amazingly large volcanoes. Just.
Do you? Not flippant, but do you think you were here before? We're talking 56 million years.
Do I think I was here before?
Yeah, maybe, as a kind of a personage of that time, someone who actually saw these things. Well, and is that why you're drawn so much back into the heart of it all?
I don't know about that.
Do you ever muse about it?
Not, to be honest,
really.
not really.
Don't often do that. Forgive me my madness.
There weren't any humans. I mean, it was just at the end of the dinosaurs. Yeah. So there had been a mass extinction, so 90% of the life on Earth had been just wiped out.
Yeah. Do you subscribe to the asteroid theory?
Well, that probably contributed, but there was probably an increase in volcanic activity as well. Yeah.
Are you involved in the lassoing of the asteroid? That's happening.
To move it off
NASA. NASA's lassoing an asteroid, and they're bringing it and putting it in orbit around the moon.
Right.
To allow you to go up there
and have a look
at it and see to get your hammer out and whatever.
But asteroids do fall to the Earth. I mean, they
do, but we want to avoid that if we can.
Yes, but little ones. I mean, I have looked at little ones, and I've met people in the Arctic who have spent their summer just going around collecting, because of course they fall on the ice and nobody ever sees them, so they just stay on the ice. Yeah, so it's the place to go. Yeah.
Goodness gracious, yes. I remember once a man in Newcastle. He was a sculptor, and guess what he sculpted? Granite.
Yes.
And he would have used a diamond saw blade, and he would and then he'd have the hatch and the hammer. And I always thought, I would love to do that.
Yes.
Because it must be so very, very joyful to make some kind of impression on with the granite.
Yes.
I chose. Maybe it's just a recognition of the power of the granite, the strength of it, and the provenance of the granite, that I don't think I can ever make an impression kind of on it, but work with it and create something that makes you think, and tactile thing would be great. Wow, but no. What about yourself? Were you ever drawn to doing things like that?
I'm not particularly arty. Well, I am in the sense that I can sew and knit and do all that sort of stuff. So it'd be more a representation through knitting.
Yeah,
I'd quite
knitting.
like to do.
You mentioned knitting, isn't it funny? I couldn't believe this. When I was last in Africa, in the bush of northern Nigeria, the women under the tree on a Sunday afternoon, really Stone Age people, knitting.
Yes.
So knitting goes on
Oh, it
in the
does.
Stone Age bush
It does.
of Africa, you know.
But
and
it's quite a good method of...
It is, but it's terribly, terribly slow.
I know, but it is relaxing and restful as well.
I'm very grateful to you coming in.
Thank you very much.
So it was a great success.
It was...
Will it be written up, the event? Will people... will there be a compendium of the papers that were presented?
Well, we have the abstracts.
What are abstracts? Sorry.
So just outlines of, each one, yes.
Yeah.
Well, we will probably put something together. We'll ask for the contributions. Well, what we have to say is we were delighted at the response of the academics. Everybody we...
But you're an academic.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So it possibly helped a little bit. But everybody we asked said, that's delightful, I'd love to do it. Yes, please, when is it on? Or, oh, I'm really sorry that I'm busy that week, but maybe let me know for next year.
Yeah, for next year.
So
And this is the first time it's happened.
It's the first time. It's the first time. We had a few hundred people between the days at it. We had over 200 people at a party in Bellurgan Park on Thursday night, just having a nice time for themselves. Yeah, great response, and the people of Newry and Mourne and all the regions around came and stayed for the whole day. The days. It was really wonderful. About 100 people in the Canal Court on last Wednesday afternoon.
My goodness.
Having lunch and talking about geotourism.
Wow, that's good.
They mightn't be all talking about it, but it was recently in their heads. It was something to think about. What is geotourism? How can we all work together? Because the expo was also about businesses and how can businesses work together. So that if you are in Newcastle, County Down, and you want to stay a bit longer, so people know about what's happening in Louth, or people know about what's happening in Gullion, so that everybody can work together rather than... We're not competitors.
No, of course not.
Newcastle isn't in competition with Carlingford.
Because geologically they're different anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be in competition. If you get people to stay a little longer, that would work quite nicely.
Yeah. But I mean, that's for others. You must not dilute the purity of your efforts.
No, but
you are the geologist.
Yes, but it's geotourism.
You are the right-hand woman
it's to
of
bring geotourism...
Harrison Ford, that's who you are.
It's to bring geotourism to the people, I suppose. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's to use it as a resource.
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
Because it's underutilised here. I mean, Newry's in the middle of 3 different sets of mountains, and Newry isn't known as the centre of mountain climbing, or you don't think of the great centres of outdoor activity as Newry, do you?
No, you don't actually.
No, you think of Keswick in the Lake District.
Keswick in the Lake, yeah,
and places like that, yeah. Bettisicode in Wales.
Well, yeah.
You don't think in Newry.
But it's coming.
It could happen.
The
potential is here.
Yeah.
The potential is here.
Good,
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I'm going to play you some music now. Yeah. That'd be all right?
That should be lovely.
Did you figure out the singer?
I didn't.
Andrew might know the name of the singer.
Summer Rain.
Summer Rain. I wonder who that is. I can't remember. Summer Rain.
Flowing through the...
You got the words of it
something
even.
of my mind.
Summer Rain, yeah. But we'll check it out.
Or is that Summer Breeze?
Summer Breeze it is.
Summer
yes,
Breeze.
that's Summer Rain. Yeah. Andrew, we'll have some music, please.